This is the 17th season of Bass Talk Live with your hosts, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrat. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Bass Cat Boats, AFCO, Ducket Fishing, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, Exo Lures, Yamagatsu, The Bass Tank, and Denali Rods. BTL coming at you. Good Wednesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of BTL right here. Matthew, we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. And, dude, I want to tell you right now, got a story, man. Last night, one of the craziest nights that I've had in my world of coaching the game of basketball.
Oh, yeah, you called me at 11 o'clock.
Well, you called me. I didn't know if something was up.
I called you at like 5 p.m.
No. No, because I still have my phone. No, it was like 8 o'clock. It was right before game time.
Oh, my bad. I was out of it when you called me.
Yeah, you were. Anyway, number 9 versus number 15 last night.
Where are these rankings? I did. It was 829 that I called you. where like rankings in what? In the region
state.
Or in the
state? No,
state?
in the state.
Okay.
All right, we're ranked number 15.
In the state.
Yeah, in the state of Oklahoma.
Wow.
They're ranked number 9. We're playing at their place. And we jump out to like a 6-point lead. First quarter. I mean, we're playing lights out. They got a 6'10" kid that's probably a D1 player.
6'10".
Yeah. Yeah. But he likes to play outside. He likes the perimeter game. He doesn't really like to bang around in the paint. And then they got a 6'7" kid who's just a beast. He's their paint player. He just likes to muck it up inside the paint. Well, anyway, we get out to a good lead. We're playing really well in the first quarter. And then things get crazy. All right? One of the referees that we have, they had a 3-referee crew, which they try to do most of the time now. One of the referees just goes out of his mind and starts calling stuff that we're just shaking our head going,
is the other team doing it too, or is it all on you?
No, it's all on us.
You think it was something sketchy going on?
I have no idea. All right, I'll get to that in a minute. So then, 2 of our best players get in foul trouble. All right, and they both have 3 fouls in the first half, and we're not even halfway through the second quarter. And, dude, I could barely touch you right here from where I'm at, and they were calling that a foul. But the other one, they were drawing blood. Our opponent, drawing blood on us. No whistle. No nothing. So about halfway through, a little before halfway through the second quarter, coach has already been teed up. Not me.
Not you, the other coach.
Yeah, already been teed up. All right, and he's in a foul mood because he knows how important this game is. This is a big game because we have a tournament coming up this week. We could be 7-1 after this tournament, of which we're the number 2 seed. Got a really good shot at winning the tournament this weekend. Anyway, so all of a sudden, one of our players gets teed up. And the head coach walks out to the ref that teed the player up and said, what did he say?
Is this all the same ref?
Yeah, all the same guy. Walks out.
You had him before?
No. I've had him before in AAU tournaments. He's a knucklehead. All right.
One of those guys who's
just an absolute knucklehead. He makes the game not about the kids.
About him.
But it's all about him.
Yeah, we had one of those. His name was Sapo, a ref, when we went to OU. The guy was just a total clown.
I mean, just out of his mind.
Total clown.
Out of his mind. So coach walks out there, and he looks right at him, and he goes, Coach, you better go sit down, or I'm just going to kick you out of the game. He goes, I want to know what my player said. That's all it's a dead ball right now. What did he say? He said, I'm not going to tell you. Well, what ended up happening is the coach ended up telling the referee what he thought about his game calling and about that situation. Next thing I know, he gets kicked out.
Now you're the head coach.
So now I'm coaching. All right. We've got 2.5 quarters left. After they must have shot 8 free throws because there was a technical foul, a personal foul.
Oh, on that one play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a technical foul on the coach.
So now they're up after that.
I think they shot 8 free throws.
Wow.
I got to look at the film. Anyway.
Just one after the other.
Dude, it was just chaos. It really was. And it was a good thing that they were only allowing X number of people
All right, so
in
what
the
happened?
gym.
So what ended up happening?
So he gets kicked out. We go in at halftime. We're down by, I think we're down by 15 at the half. I mean, we just fell apart. After that, it was just chaos. So come out the second half, play decent in the third quarter. Third quarter, we're down by 15 going into the fourth. All right. And I put in a 1-3-1 half-court press to where you just put pressure on them prior to them getting over the half-court line. And they ended up only scoring 2 points. And we had a shot. We had the ball down by 3 with 6 seconds left. And the guy made a steal. One of our players made a steal. And when he made the steal, he was kind of in an awkward position, and he ended up traveling. So then we had to foul with 2.7 seconds left. They made both free throws, and we end up losing by 5. Now, here's the rest of the story. As a result of coach getting kicked out, he can't coach in the next game.
So now you're the head coach for the next
So
game.
guess who we play
The same team?
the next game? No, it's even worse.
Number 1 team.
No.
What?
You're not thinking, dude.
No.
4 years ago, I chronicled what was taking place at the previous school that I was at. Bridge Creek,
Yeah.
that's who we play
Oh, wow.
in the first round of the tournament in Noble.
And you'll be the head coach.
Yeah, and he can't even be in the gym or anything.
Are you allowed to be in their gym?
What do you mean?
I thought, was that one of the chair throwing years?
Well, it's not even at Bridge Creek's gym. It's at a neutral site.
Oh, was
It's
that
at
the
a
school
tournament.
that you threw
No.
the chair
Yeah.
at? Yeah.
You don't remember that whole situation with the parents? That's part of the reason why I don't want to be a head coach anymore.
Yep.
It's just insane, crazy parents.
Yep.
Is part of the issue. So we ended up losing by 5 points, but I'll tell you what, man, they held those kids in the fourth quarter to 2 points. Besides the 4 free throws that when we had to start fouling, they had 1 bucket in the fourth quarter. We outscored them 18-4 in the fourth quarter.
I'm trying to relate this to fishing, and I think I have a relation.
I want to hear it.
Has there ever been a tournament director, and I'm not saying good or bad decision, but has there ever been a penalty that has been assessed on an angler, like a tournament discretion, a penalty box or a weight or something or a DQ that really benefited another angler?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because the only one I can think of would have been 2007, 2008, FLW Tour on Beaver Lake. There was a deal where this guy who was in the top 10 was a local.
Yeah.
And there was a single buoy that said, like, no fishing or no entry. And what it ended up being was someone had fallen overboard and they hadn't found him months ago. And they had cordoned off an area and they had left one buoy out that they forgot to pick up after they'd gotten done with it. And they DQ'd the guy. And I believe that Jimmy got in 10th. Or one of those. It might have been Cochran. Some Walmart guy got in because they DQ'd this local on a technicality.
Huh.
That was the one that came to my mind.
That was 2007?
Either 2007 or 2008.
I can remember some situations where they went to the penalty box.
Yeah, I know Biffle, but did it? But here's the thing:
It did benefit because they were both trying to fish in one area, and because the guy was stuck in the penalty box.
Was that the Mississippi River?
That was one of them. The other one was Champlain.
Okay.
Remember the whole Bill Lowen situation? I was involved in that.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be, but I was. Bill Lowen was my,
Chris Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've talked about that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he couldn't go into the area that he was fishing, and then he got put in the penalty box. And I don't know, the penalty box kind of a good rule. You don't get a full DQ; you just get penalized a little bit.
I feel like the penalty box is underutilized in fishing.
I agree. Wasn't Kenyon in the penalty box one time?
I don't know. Tripp was a big fan of the penalty box for a while.
Yeah,
but I think it's an underutilized area. Like instead of, because there's so much guys with so many on the line, and you're talking about a DQ, especially if it's something unintentional, or even if it is intentional. I think the penalty box needs to be used more, especially now since everyone has GoPros and stuff.
Good point.
What are you laughing at?
Just some of the posts. Anyway, good show today. We're gonna have Grae Buck on, and dude, I gotta admit. Now, we mentioned yesterday that Major League Fishing has a new website, totally redesigned, new stuff and all that and everything. I reached out to a couple of people, and the data from the FLW fishing site is there now. They said, hey, it was just going to be a matter of time. The conversion took a little longer than expected, but eventually that data is going to reside on the new
So we'll be able to go through and see their tournament by tournament statistics.
It's there now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Dude, I just looked at it.
Look up.
I'm looking at Ron Nelson right now.
Okay, look at his tournament by tournament. If you want to look at every tournament that Ron, look at how he did in all 7 of the tournaments or 6 of the tournaments this past year. Click on it. So it pulls down.
No, that link is not there yet, but it will be.
As long as it will be.
Yeah.
That'd be a massive mistake if it wasn't.
No, they assured me that information.
Because that has been one of my gripes with every organization that has ever been a professional organization is the lack of detailed statistics.
No, that is going to be there. They assured me that information is going to be migrated over to where...
And, Ken Duke can talk all about it and stuff, but, I mean, every angler should have... What are you laughing about?
Somebody wants to know about the penalty box. They don't understand what the penalty box is.
If you're a dumbass... on the water.
That's not true.
And you get caught.
You make a mistake.
If you're a dumbass on the water the next morning, if you're boat 5, you're sitting at the ramp while everyone else takes off.
At the dock.
And then an hour, 2 hours, half an hour, however long it is based on how big of an idiot you were, then you don't get to take off until like 9 or 10. It basically, I think, saves guys tournaments who make mistakes, something goes wrong, and instead of getting their day DQ'd or DQ'd from the tournament or weight taken away from a day, which is... in any other sport, you can screw up, and it's... Yeah, I mean, like you're shorthanded for a little bit, or you're down a player, but it's like kills you in fishing. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
So the penalty box allows you to think about your poor life decisions the day before, but then still make it up that day without screwing your season. Fair assessment? So you literally just stay tied up to the dock longer.
Can you remember, I mean, I mentioned Kenyon, I mentioned Chris Lane. Can you think of any other penalty box situations? Was Timmy Horton in the penalty box?
I think Alvin's been in the penalty box once or twice.
Yeah. Has Kevin been in the penalty box?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, well, ask him. By the way,
life jacket deal, like he like idled to an area without his life jacket strapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking like blatant
cheating.
Blatant like, oh, we found 4 of your fish in a pen. You're going to start at 9 tomorrow. We're talking like
minor infractions.
Blew a bridge that you didn't know was a no-wake zone, or power idled through an area, or started your big motor without your life jacket, or the 6 fish, or something like that.
I'm reading the comments.
Yeah, Hackney had that big... Wasn't there a major deal with Hackney in the Angler of the Year?
Think so. And then Casey Ashley
fishing in some sort of marina deal up north in the Angler of the Year championship. Yeah.
Ashley at the Classic. Somebody mentioned on the instant feedback.
Yep.
So yeah, there have been situations. G-Man, Gerald.
Now, do I think it could be totally overutilized? Yeah. but
Not really. I mean, can you recall a single penalty box situation from the Elite Series last year?
well, I mean, when you're at the events covering them and stuff, like it's not like they open up the broadcast with like a close up of the box of shame.
The sin bin.
I mean, they could get a sponsor for it
They could.
and actually make it a box.
I have the perfect sponsor. Jack in the Box.
Who would be a good industry sponsor for the penalty box?
Jack in the Box.
What's a fast food chain?
They're all over the place, though, man.
That would be good.
Jack in the Box. That's the sponsor for the penalty box right
Punisher lures
there. No, outside of fishing, man.
outside of fishing.
Outside of fishing. I know several years ago we asked the question, and I might need to touch on this subject this year before the tournament season kicks off. But do you remember we used to ask the guys, what is the one non-endemic sponsor out there that you could have? If you could have an opportunity to capture that sponsor, who would it be? Mm-hmm. You remember that? That was like 5 or 6 years ago. There's some cool sponsors that I think would be great fits
Well,
in
we
the
know
fishing world.
whose yours would be. You'd have just a big swoosh down the
Yeah.
side of your boat.
Any of those companies, Nike, Adidas, maybe not New Balance.
No, absolutely no meat on that bone for them, is there?
What's that?
To get involved in bass fishing.
The big name athletic companies.
Not big enough.
You know, they tried it in bowling, and they actually had one of the top names in the game represent their brand, Marshall Holman, back in the I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, and it lasted 2 or 3 years. They had bowling shoes with swooshes on them, and that was it. Done, finished. But anyway, so that's what the penalty box is there. All right, real quick, in case you haven't noticed, if you've watched the first couple of shows, we have a new sponsor, X Zone Lures. Did you see who just signed with them?
Call.
Huh?
Carl.
That is correct.
It's call.
I was like, what are you saying there?
I'm
Spit
saying
it out.
Call. Jacobson.
Jakobsen.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Carl. Good dude.
We need to have him on. Last time he was on,
Yeah.
remember, it was one of the most enlightening shows that we'd had.
Yeah. A lot of good feedback from that show and an epic performance.
Yeah.
At
He's
Lake
just
Tinkler.
hanging out at Chickamauga now at his house, going on like misty morning runs with the dog, relaxing in his man cave. He's got it figured out right now.
So did you watch any climbing videos yesterday?
No, just what I showed you.
That's it?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a daily ritual with you.
No, I mean, I kind of go through phases with it.
Yeah. By the way, what do you think about John Cox?
What do you mean?
He's going to fish everything.
Oh, really?
You haven't seen that?
No.
Yeah. Elite Series, Tackle Warehouse,
And
BPT,
Really?
21 events.
Oh,
No.
people are asking you. I got another email just now. So like several weeks ago, you offered to.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me touch on that real quick. Here, what I'm going to do is the registration, I think, opens. What's the date today?
The 6th.
I think it opens tomorrow for the Marshals. All right. If you're going to marshal on the Elite Series, what I have offered to do is two individuals, I'm going to pay for your marshaling fee, and then we're going to have you come on the show, and we're going to have you talk about the experience of being a marshal. Now, the way that you're going to get selected, I'm going to select two people, is there will be information on basszone.com. First, you got to register. Obviously, you've got to be in there. And you got to pay your money. I mean, don't wait for me to send you a check or anything like that. So you have to pay your fee, get enrolled, be a marshal, and then there will be a link on the Bass Zone that you just click on the link, and then you'll fill out a form. We'll get the information, and then we will randomly select two people based upon the information that we receive. So that's how that's going to work.
There you go.
All right. And then I will reimburse your $99, and we'll get you on the show to talk about what the marshaling experience is like on the Bassmaster Elite Series. All right. Good deal. great chance to kind of showcase what marshalling's all about. I know some people have done it more than once, numerous times. Great experience, but I think a lot of people out there don't truly know what it's like to be a marshal. Would you agree with this, Matthew, that a lot of it depends who you're in the boat with as to the experience?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also at a level where most of the guys know what's up. I mean, I think if I was going to marshal again, I would rather marshal at the BFL level. That would be a lot more enjoyable for me.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have a much better chance of getting a great story.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the lead series to go out, catch fish, come back in.
Yeah. A lot of Marshall Holman references on the instant feedback. They're saying he's the Mike Iaconelli of bass fishing. Yeah, he's done some crazy stuff. I remember he kicked a foul light on national television and it went like 100 yards down the lane. He was fined severely for doing that.
Like how much?
Like 10 grand.
For doing what?
He kicked a foul light.
In the bowling alley?
Yeah, on TV, on television.
Like a place kicker.
Yeah.
And did they have to pause the...
Oh, yeah. They had to fix it. They had to get it. He broke it, and he looked down, and he was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And I think it was a $10,000 fine is what it ended up being. Let's see here real quick, and then we're going to take a break and come back with our special guest, Grae Buck. And I started out by saying the statistical data. When I looked at it and when I was trying to get my shows set up and get everybody booked, Matthew, I was totally wrong. And anytime I'm wrong, I'm going to be the first one to admit it. I was wrong about a fact about Grae Buck. I just totally blew it on this fact. But he had a great season. He finished third in the point standings on the Tackle Warehouse Tour Pro Circuit. And thought it'd be cool. Obviously, one of my favorite guests on the show.
What was the fact that you got wrong?
Dude, I screwed it up. I don't even want to mention it. Seriously, I looked at all the data.
Well, you can't bring it up if you don't want to mention it.
Well, no, I'll bring it up. I thought, what is one of my favorite stats in fishing? I've talked about it every single season.
Who finishes last?
Yeah, that's one of them.
That is your favorite stat in fishing, Mark.
There is. I do
pioneered
start
the
from the
trend
bottom up.
Start from the bottom and work your way up.
That is correct, but that is not what I'm referencing. Actually, this is a positive.
Okay.
It's the angler that earns the most money during a season without winning a title.
Oh, okay.
I love that stat. All right, because if you can make close to 100 grand or 75 grand in this game and not win a title, what does that say?
It means that you're very consistent and you're in top 10s.
100%. All right, and obviously the guys at the top of the point standings, some of them have titles, others do not. And if you look at the point standings in the pro circuit, I think the top three guys, no titles.
Really?
Yeah. Look at that stat. Because I might be wrong.
I'm still trying to... Ron Nelson.
Yeah. And then Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grae.
They don't have it updated to see when they won, so...
Well, no, you can look over at the side where it says wins.
Yeah, but you
and it says 0.
What do you mean? No, Ron Nelson has 3 career wins.
No. I'm talking about on the season.
Oh.
Like Ron Nelson, let's see here.
No.
The way that they have it now.
Yeah. So Grae Buck finished third in the points this year.
Yeah.
In 6 tournaments.
But he didn't have a win.
He didn't even have a top 10.
Yeah, and he still made...
I mean, he had a top 10 in the title.
Yeah, but he still made almost 70 grand.
Yeah.
Which is a great season for not winning a title. Anyway, that is one of the glaring stats that I look at the end of each season. If you go out and you make between 75 and 100 grand and you don't win a title, that's a badass season. It really is. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Yeah. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to have him on. So we'll get him on, talk about 2020, and then moving forward, talk about 2021, because you know what he gets to do now?
He gets to fish on the BPT, right?
He gets to fish in the first event.
Yeah. And then it's like the top guys
Four
from each event or something.
Yeah,
get
it's
to
the
fish in
top
next
four
one.
after that. So what they did is they took the point standings, the top four, for the very first one. So he gets to fish the first one at Sam Rayburn.
That's not a bad place to.
Especially after the dude had
Not a bad place to go fishing early
40
in the year.
pounds yesterday.
Yeah.
Jeez, or this weekend. And then remember, this is the third year, so now 10 guys are going to drop out. And then the top 10 in the point standings from the last 2 years, I think, is how it's going to work.
Is anyone grandfathered
fill.
into that? Are there guys who can't drop out?
I don't think so. I think it's...
So do we have a 2-year rolling average? Do we know who
It's
the
not
guys that
anywhere.
are fishing for their lives are?
I'm sure it will be posted sometime this year. I can request that.
I would like to know who we need to follow this year.
Yeah. Let me see what I can come up with on that.
In your fascination with the morbidity side of bass fishing, I
You
want
better
to know
catch them.
who the bottom 10 are.
You're coming over to the dark
Well,
side,
I
Tanger.
say that because there's been some household names that have struggled in the
Yeah.
first 2 years of the BPT. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, are there owners on that list? Are there classic winners, perennial angler of the year contenders?
Yeah.
I'd be interested in seeing who it is.
Let's see if I can get that. That'd be a
And
Very good
and a
piece of
confirmation that there
information.
will be cuts after this year. Because I find it hard to believe they don't have 80 right now. I mean, they do, but they're
yeah.
doing a weird hybrid deal to get up to it.
I have confirmed for a fact, at least I have been told, there will be cuts.
So, like, if Grae Buck fishes on Rayburn and
Yeah.
he wins,
He gets to fish the next one.
he does?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
that's what I was told. So if you finish in the top four, you get to fish in the next.
So the first one goes off Angler of the Year
Second one goes upon where
about
you
the
finish.
previous.
season.
No,
Yeah.
no,
2020.
the previous tournament in 2021.
No.
I don't know.
Season.
Maybe we should ask Grae.
Season, dude.
'Cause I'm
I got all
confused
this
now.
straight. No,
but if
no,
you
no.
win it, you get to keep.
Not
rolling?
just if you win. If you finish in the top four,
You get to.
they have 4 spots. If you finish in the top 4 at Sam Rayburn, you get to fish the next one. If you finish in the top 4 again, you get to fish the next one. They're basically taking the top 4 from each event, with the exception of the first one, and they went off the AOI standards.
I think you have that wrong.
I,
Top 4.
You wanna
of the-
bet on
of
that
the-
one?
of the pro circuit?
you want to bet on that one?
Okay, listen. So he's going to fish the first one, but it's going the top 4 of the guys in each pro circuit tournament. Get
Yes.
to move on to the next one, not the top 4 of the BPT.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, we're on the same page. All I was saying was Grae Buck's fishing the first BPT of the year. If he wins it,
He gets to fish the next one
why?
because he finished in the top 4
No,
at
but they're
Rayburn.
going off the top 4 of the FLW or the whatever the hell it's called, Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit.
I get it. No,
They're not going off the
You are
top 4
correct.
of the BPT.
You are
So he
correct.
could go in and win it, and then he's got to go finish top 4 on Lake Okeechobee to get into the next BPT event.
You are correct.
Jeez.
We're a little confused there, but yes.
All right.
Unless the second or unless the first pro circuit event is at Sam Rayburn. I don't remember where it
No,
is.
it's on Okeechobee, February 11th.
Yeah,
through
so
14th.
whoever
We're
finishes-
just a month away from this thing kicking
So
off.
whoever finishes in the top 4 in that event gets to fish the next one after Sam Rayburn. That's how they're doing it. And then in 2022, 10 fall out, 10 go in.
Allegedly.
I have been told that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right. That is what I have been told.
All right.
All right. 10 out, 10 in.
All right.
All right. All right. Let's take a break. Come back with Grae Buck here on a Wednesday. Don't forget, folks, day 4 tomorrow with Frank Scalish. He's got some good stuff. Can't wait for that. We'll be right back.
New Active Target by Lorenz.
It
exceeded any and all expectations I had.
It really opened up my eyes to things that I never knew happened.
I'm not sure what kind of voodoo they've included in the software, but it's incredibly impressive.
He was messing around, just pitched a little crappie jig in there, and all of a sudden you see the jig come right down in there, and you see the fish come to it. I mean, it was like that.
It's just a complete different universe that we're taking this fishing to. There's no bass safe out there.
Active Target by Lowrance. Game on.
BassCat's legendary 20-foot platform has been paired with angler-approved accessories for 2021. Puma FTD features the proven hull used by many of the top names in bass fishing today, backed by a transferable lifetime warranty. The Puma FTD boasts a full team deck concept which enhances efficiency for you and your tournament partners. Turnkey tournament-winning performance. The Puma FTD SP from BassCat.
The Ned rig. What rod should I be using with the Ned rig? My favorite is the Denali Lithium multi-spin rod. It's our 7'4" length, great Ned rig rod. It's got a great sensitive tip on it. It's long enough where I can make long casts, which you're usually fishing clear water with a Ned rig, and it's got enough backbone to get those fish in. So check it out, Denali Lithium Series 7'4" multi-spin.
Let's face it, fishing electronics are no longer an afterthought. They've become a necessity. And at the Bass Tank, our experts match you with the right electronics, provide professional installation, and educate you to help maximize your catching results while providing support along the way. Because let's be honest, it's about catching, not just fishing. And when you're ready for better results, join the Bass Tank team. Visit us today on Facebook or go to thebasstank.com.
You've been waiting all week for this, and Sunline wants to make sure you're ready for it with bulk spools of all your favorite fishing lines.
Oh, it's so fun.
Bulk up with Sunline.
Guys, what makes our Spro lures beat the competition?
I mean, you have to admit, we nailed it with my McSticks and rock crawlers.
Man, we've all won money on my plugs.
My Wamic shot put fish in my boat. One thing's for sure, we all count on our Spro lures to beat the competition.
Designing cutting-edge baits with some of America's top anglers. Spro lures beat the competition. To see the entire lineup, visit a retailer near you or spro.com.
While I travel the country on the Bassmaster Elite Series, I simply can't let the weather be the reason I don't win $100,000. That's why I use AFCO clothing to keep me warm, dry, and protected from whatever Mother Nature wants to throw at me. My season depends on it. My career depends on it. AFCO. Any fish, any water.
Everyone, Brandon Palnick here. People always be asking me what I got tied on. And I'm like, X-Zone Lures. And they're like, Brandon, why you got X-Zone Lures tied on? And I'm like, let me show you why.
Bye.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's pretty thinking.
Get in here. Oh, gosh. Giant. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
I think you get the point.
Pro-inspired, pro-designed, tested and proven by legends on the water, dominating the tournament trail for over 50 years. Everything you need, one legendary brand. Strike King.
Hey guys, Major League Fishing Pro Jacob Wheeler here with my new Signature Series line of rods with Duck It Fishing. We have my 7.2 cranking rod right here. Crankbaits can be very fickle, and having the right, having a lot of tip can be too much, and having not enough tip can, lose a lot of fish. So you really got to be careful. If there's one or two techniques that I'm really adamant about having the perfect action is a crankbait, especially like the square bill, a DT6, those medium running crankbaits in the springtime when those fish's mouth are pretty tough. That's when I'm really on top of having my actions just perfect.
All right, we are back on a Wednesday, and it is time. What's wrong, man?
Oh, I screwed up. There's a big tournament out west, and they kicked everyone's butt with a fly rod.
I saw that.
I was supposed to get all the details for it.
Yeah.
I was going to lead the show with it.
What happened?
And I just remembered. I don't know. Here's what I remembered. I saw anyway, and then I got on this tangent where I'm on the Nice Creed and Landis Block and Concrete, which is Grae Buck's title sponsor.
Yeah.
They do all this, like, the houses that they're doing stonework for are insane.
Out of your price range?
Stone veneer. Oh, dude, the landscaping on some of these houses probably more than I'll ever make with you in BTL in 10 years. I mean, it's
just the landscaping?
Oh, one of those ornate fire pits where all the blocks are all, that's what it is. Because I was trying to figure out, I was like, well, how did Grae end up with the Fighting Illini colors, like a blue and orange and white and all that stuff, or whatever? It's just a unique color combination you don't see in fishing. Well, their website's orange and black and that kind of color, so I'm assuming that's where it came from.
Maybe you can ask him.
And it's also a non-endemic.
Yeah, all right.
You're talking about non-endemic.
Well, you can ask him. Here, let's bring him in. Grae, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for jumping on and joining the show. Matthew, go ahead. Ask him.
This is fancy brick stuff, Grae.
Yeah, there's a little bit of money in that.
I mean, you're not getting called out to the single wide to throw some patio stones down for your title sponsor.
No. You know how that all came about was, it's a company that, my dad has a landscaping company. I worked for him growing up. And they were just somebody we always bought pavers from, because we did a lot of that work. They sell the pavers, they make them there. And then we would install a lot of that stuff. And basically when my first year was, I was just trying to get, $1,000 here, just trying to cover any money I could for the
hustling
season. Yeah, just emails, phone calls. And I randomly sent them an email with a sponsorship package. And I didn't know the owner at all. I knew like their manager a little bit just from being in the store. But he called me and I came in. I started talking to him and he's just eating up with fishing, loves it. And it was just like a good combination just because I'm being local here, already kind of working with him already. So it worked out amazing. And he's the best guy. Their whole Landis Block and Ice Creek, their whole crew there is just awesome. And I wouldn't be doing it because I don't know if I would have made it through my first 2 years without those guys, for real.
So if you need pavers,
yeah,
in an unmatched variety of colors and textures,
yeah, or concrete,
and you're around the Souderton, Pennsylvania area, there you go. Go support Grae Buck and Ice Creek and Landis Block and Concrete.
Yeah.
How about that? That's got to be the best sponsor plug you've ever gotten in a podcast, isn't it, Grae?
Oh, yeah.
I just opened with it.
I appreciate the assist there. That was just fed it to me.
That was good. That was a great dime.
That was a primary assist.
Yeah.
That wasn't even like a rebound goal. That was like a saucer pass and a 2-on-1 to an open net, and all you do is just tap it in. Similar to the 2-0 victory in the IFHA World Junior Championship over the heavily favored Canadians.
I saw that.
I saw Gustafson talking all sorts of crap on his Instagram and social medias about how it's a done deal up there. He's going to sit in his ice shack, catch some walleye, and watch the domination. And they didn't even pot the biscuit one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him a message after that victory.
Yeah, so did I. All I did I just sent it in emojis, though. I just sent American flag hockey stick.
I just asked him what the final was.
Yeah, that worked too.
That's good. All right, man. Let's back up a few seconds here and talk about 2020. And I apologize because when I booked this interview with you, I was like, man, I love this stat. I think this stat is very telling for the guys that do not win. Matt and I talked about it, but to make, close to $70,000 in a season without getting a win is pretty impressive. And there are very few guys out there that surpass that level in earnings without a win. So very consistent. I thought you had a great year without getting the trophy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it was kind of a strange year last year that I was super consistent. Like, had a bunch of top 20 and 30s. Never really made it even into the top 10. So that's kind of a goal for this year. I want to make sure I get into the top 10 in a couple of them. And I've never cashed a check in every tournament I fished in a year. So that was really awesome too, because you go into some of them and it's like things just don't go right always. And this past year, I was very fortunate that I caught a lot of big fish. And basically every tournament but Chickamauga, I had, it might be relative to the lake, but I caught that 9-pounder at Rayburn. I caught an 8 at the Harris Chain. Lake Martin, I caught a 3.5-pound spot, which isn't crazy huge, but for there, like a 2-pounder was great that week. So it's just a lot of fish that helped jump me up. And it just ended up averaging out to having a great year and third in the Angular of the Year for this season.
Are you excited about the opportunity to fish in the first BPT event of the season on Rayburn?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. The title championship out with Sturgeon Bay was the first time I ever fished a major league fishing style tournament. So it helped a lot that I was on fish there, catching a lot of them already, that I wasn't like real stressed out by the whole time clock, except for the last day when I was getting blown off the lake. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to Rayburn that time of year. I've always been in January when it's been kind of cold. They've been more offshore. So I'm hoping there are going to be some fish shallow. We can go up there and throw a jackhammer around and catch some big largemouth.
I think you can.
Well, obviously you're fishing for money in that. You're not fishing for points at all. So you're going to obviously try to cash a check, make some money because you got to pay the entry fee for it. But I would think the guys, the top 4 guys, the tour guys that are fishing that BPT, I mean, you guys have nothing to lose. You guys can go for it. So I would not be surprised to see the tour guys really, because you're going to end up with a certain segment of the BPT guys that are trying to make red crest, that are trying to get points, that are trying to qualify for cups. So they're not going to take nearly as many risks. I mean, you literally have nothing to lose. The upside is massive on that. Obviously, your entry fee, but it's not like if you finish 70th, you're out of it for the red crest.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I mean, you're fishing a different tournament, you 4 guys are, each time.
Yeah, absolutely. And being the first one of the year, all those guys are going to want to start off with a solid finish. They're not looking to win that thing the first tournament of the year. So I think that even gives us a little more of an advantage. And I know I don't care about cashing the check there. I'm going to go try to win that thing. And maybe we can put some pressure on them if we do win it, like you were saying. See what happens.
Yeah. I don't remember, but last year, did you have a good year in 2019, Grae?
It was solid. I ended up 52nd. I had I had a very good tournament. I came in second for the one, and then I had a couple bombs in it. And last year was the first year I was able to get all the bombs out of there. I think I had 2 double-digit finishes the year before. I started Okeechobee off, and it didn't go my way. So I'm hoping to get a little redemption there when we start this year.
All right, so
19, that's when he won an Open that year too.
Right,
so,
but
the bass side.
Yeah, but what I was getting to was this season is still critical to get one of those 10 spots on the BPT for 2022.
Oh, yeah. You're in the mix for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps a lot having that third place finish last year, so it kind of gives me a little of a leg up for this coming season. But I got to go out there and catch them again and probably get another top 10 finish to guarantee that I make it then.
Yeah.
I don't like this, though. So I'm looking at his bass stats.
Uh-huh.
Well, I've got to go to the James River this year for the Opens.
Can't help
it. And Grae finished his 3rd overall. He's won an Open. He's obviously one of the best anglers going right now, and he caught 5 pounds in 2 days and finished 168 there in 2019.
Yeah.
Any tips or things to avoid?
Nothing you want from me, that's for sure.
Just kind of run through your game.
You know what? That place, I fished there, I think 3 times now. And every time I go down to the Chick practice there, looks the best. I have a decent. Like, I'll shake a bunch of fish off. I'll catch a couple down there, and I always end up going down there. For some reason, I just get burnt in the tournament, and I don't know if it's a timing thing. Like, I know how to fish tidal water. I fish the Potomac and Chesapeake enough. You'd think I'd do all right down there, but I don't know. One of these days, I'm going to get some revenge on it. I was hoping it was going to be this year, but they got some overlapping dates with the pro circuit this year, so I won't be able to do the Northern Opens. But
So I made a note. Don't get sucked into it's the Chickahominy, right?
yeah,
Don't get sucked into that.
I'd still go. I'm going there again when I go there. There's the most fish down there. There's the biggest fish down there.
Oh, well, that sounds like a sure thing then.
There you go, Matthew. Hey, on the instant feedback, Jim in Indiana wants to know, are you willing to talk about the final title day on what went right, what went wrong, what happened? He said, did you blunder, was his comment.
No, so what happened was that final day of the title, I'd been catching them off about 3 spots, and it was in like a 2-mile stretch. There's just a bunch of rock piles out there that dropped off into a bunch of deep water. And we had the same wind direction all week, and it wasn't really blowing that hard out there. And the final day it changed. It came out of the northwest. So it was blowing down the entire Green Bay. And when I got out there, there was probably like 3.5 footers. So it was a good chop out there. And what happened was that wind current and water current changed, and it moved all my fish. Like, it was one of the biggest schools I've ever found in my life, and there was hundreds, if not thousands, of them down there. And the knockout round, I caught, I can't remember, 70 pounds or something like that. And then I stopped like halfway through the day because there was no reason to keep catching them.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to make the final. They just weren't there that final day. I caught 3 first thing in the morning, and then the wind just kept blowing. It was supposed to blow up to 40-mile-an-hour in the afternoon. And by the time I got off the water after 2 hours into the day, there was 5 and 6 footers out there, and it was just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. There was just no way to win out there at that point because I was about 7 miles or 8 miles offshore, and there was nothing around me. It was just the middle. So it is what it is. I tried gambling. I moved over to the other side of the peninsula, went out to Lake Michigan. Never found anything down there, and it didn't happen, but I was happy with how the whole week went anyway.
Yeah, Dave wants to know, what boat are you running this year?
I'm actually going to be making a switch. I haven't told anybody yet, but I'm going to be running a Bass Cat this coming year.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We didn't know.
Who are you going with? Like, what model are you going with?
I'm getting a Cougar. So
nice.
I talked to a lot of guys about it. I didn't know exactly which one I wanted originally, and I talked to Pipkins a lot because I know he fishes up at Erie. My biggest concern was going to something that could handle the big water, and it sounds like that's going to be the best all-around mix. So, you guys are the first one to hear it. I haven't told anybody, but
there you have it.
I'm excited.
I had no idea.
Do you ever open one up before? Like, you ever been behind the wheel when you opened a Bass Cat up?
Yeah, it's powerful. It's amazing.
You got to learn how to drive them. They call it the Bass Cat wiggle.
Well, the first time I switched to Triton, it had a little bit of that, and I've heard it. I know it's got a little bit more even. So
you get it on that pad, and it just says zoom.
I'm excited though. It's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm waiting for the boat to still come in. It's not quite here yet, but it'll get here, and then I'll have it for the first tournament of the year.
All right, man. Any other sponsor news you want to pass along that people may not know?
Yeah, this was a really good off season. Having the year I did, I was able to pick up a bunch of new companies. I'm working with Angler Tungsten, Rely on Batteries. So I'm pretty excited to put those lithiums in the Bass Cat, make it nice and light, have power all day. It's going to be pretty cool. And then I got one more coming. They're going to be releasing the press release sometime this week. I don't know if I can't say that one yet, but it has to do with the hard baits that you were saying that I wasn't sponsored by last time I was on the show. I found a company that wanted to work with me, and I'm really excited for that.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Now, Matt and I were discussing, we jumped up to the topic of non-endemic sponsors, and 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know when it was, we asked the question, if there was a non-endemic out there that you wished that you could get involved with from a company standpoint, who would that be?
Oh, I never thought about that really. I don't know if it would be some sort of hockey thing. I like hockey a lot. I don't know how I would play that.
Who's the big hockey equipment now. I mean,
I've been out of it. Bauer?
It used to be Bauer, but I think
CCM?
Nike bought Bauer.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, though.
Yeah,
CCM?
They got rebought out by Bauer, I think. It's not Nike Bauer anymore. I have an old pair of gloves from both of them, but
Yeah. I remember I was playing when the Nike gloves came out. I was in high school when the Nike gloves came out. I had a red pair of Nike gloves.
No, it's just something to think about. It's cool if anglers could tie in their personal interest to be able that if you had a choice, man, I'd really like to be involved with this company. I know a lot of guys out there, it's considered a non-endemic, but a lot of the guys would cross over to the hunting aspect and get hunting companies involved in the fishing world or, whatever it was. But, I am hoping that as this sport becomes better, not grow it, but just that it becomes better and companies outside the industry see how their involvement could really improve their brand along with getting involved in the game. So,
do you remember, I can't remember who it was. We'll go back to another story. When I was covering the FLW tour, there was a guy who towed with a Cadillac, and he had a Cadillac wrap. Do you remember that?
No. Who do what now?
There's a guy who had a Cadillac wrap.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know who it was or if he owned the dealership or whatever. And then also Brad Wall with the Hooters wrap.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad one.
I'm gonna say this once again, the most iconic wrap in the history of bass fishing, though.
Bowflex?
No.
The most iconic wrap?
Was the original Crown Royal wraps.
Oh,
with the Crown Royal team. Now, I don't know, you were probably, 12 when that happened, Grae, but that was really the first non-endemic to really, really put forth a lot of money into the bass fishing world. And
what's your favorite wrap? Like, if you had to just pick, besides your own, what do you think every time you see it, you're like, that's a badass wrap?
I really like a lot of the favorite wraps. My buddy Matt has one, Becker, that I room with. It kind of it flows really well because it's the main, probably over half of it's just all their logos. And then when they do that metallic finish on it, that it really makes it pop. I don't know if you've ever seen that when the guys have that wrap that's metallic. Yeah. But the first time I ever saw it was with Jamie Hartman. He had one, and I was picking my boat up. Used to get it wrapped at the same place when he lived up in New York, and it really it stood out and really made you just in awe and look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Frosted Flakes wrap was pretty cool. Somebody mentioned.
Oh yeah, with Tony the tiger stripes and the blue. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one had. You know what? I hadn't thought of that one in years, and I would have to go with that one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then a very obscure one was the boat that Ted Nugent had.
Zebra.
Yeah, that was wrapped. Did you ever see that one, Grae?
No, I never did.
Yeah.
That's still around Oklahoma. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Someone bought it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was zebra wrapped. It was pretty cool looking. So
I thought about a non-endemic. I would want Chipotle because I eat there on the road.
That would be money.
Hey man, their stock price is at like $400 a share. I think somebody out there has got some money that they could dump into the fishing world. Yeah, man, that's great food. It's good for you too. It's healthy food. I can actually eat some of that.
Nice.
Why are you shaking your head?
No, I wasn't. I was scratching my chin.
Oh, geez. All right, man. What do you think you need to improve on in 2021?
I want to keep the consistency that I had in 2020 because that was always my issue. And I think that a lot of that was just a learning curve of learning to fish down south because I didn't do much of that early in my life. I want to be able to also, like I was saying before, I want to get a couple top 10s in this year. And I think that's just a matter of putting 2 good days in a row together. Because it seemed like either day 1 I smashed them or day 2 last year I smashed them. And it just kind of carried me over or got me into the third day of the tournament. So I think once I start I got the consistency of the tournament down, it seemed like. It's just not 2 days in a row. Because once I do that, I think I could start becoming a little more dangerous and contended for some wins.
Did I see where you caught your biggest largemouth and smallmouth this year?
Yeah.
Ever? In the same? Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm getting closer and closer. I want to break 10 pounds for a largemouth and 7 for a smallie. And I'm within a half pound for both of them now.
What do you think was more impressive, the smallie or the largie that you caught this year?
Personally, the largemouth. I've caught a lot of 6.5 pound smallies. I have not caught that many big largemouth, but that's just area of the country I live in. I get more opportunities to fish for those big smallmouth up on the St. Lawrence and all that in Ontario. I didn't actually get to weigh it, but I caught a giant largemouth up here in Pennsylvania probably about a month ago. My scale was floating in a box full of water, so I don't know exactly what it weighed, but I got a new scale, and 2 days later I went out and I caught one that was 7. So it was in the 8 pound class. It might have been pushing 9. It was huge, but it was really cool.
I've had this conversation with people before. They're like, well, how are, I've caught 5 fish over 10 and blah, blah. How are these guys that are on tour? How have they not caught a 10 pounder?
Yeah.
Well, you don't realize is, and I'm assuming this is true for you, a lot of you guys, when you're going down to Florida and Chickamauga and Guntersville and all these places that have it, you're like practicing for a tournament, figuring out how to catch 5 good ones. You're not like going down there on a fun trip, trying to catch big ones. So like, you have no other reason to go down there than to practice for a tournament. So even you're around all these double-digit fish, it's not like you are putting yourself in a prime position to catch one.
Yeah, realistically, you only have 2 guaranteed days that you're going to be trying to catch them, because a lot of times in practice you're covering water so fast and you're shaking fish off that you might have that bite, or you might go through that area that has those fish, but you're not actually leaning into them until the tournament day. So realistically, you spend a week there, but you only got a couple days to actually try to really put the
Do you think you've shaken off a 10 pounder?
No, probably not, but at least I don't know. Maybe.
How would you know? You can't know that.
Okay, listen. So when you're fishing for a tournament and you're not setting the hook, there are certain times when you get a bite and you're going, God, I would really like to see what the heck this is. Is this a flathead? Is this an 8 pounder? What the heck is this? But you shake it off. You've not ever done that, Mark?
No.
Oh, you're
Dude, there's no way to tell that.
Bull crap, there isn't. You're making yourself sound
way.
like an amateur angler by saying that.
Listen to me.
100% you can tell.
Listen to what you're saying.
I can't say whether you could tell. You could tell whether it's a 12-incher or whether it's something over 3 or 4 pounds.
Hang on. So you're telling me you can tell the difference just by getting a bite? Let's say you don't have the barb on the hook or something like that you get a bite and the fish takes off.
Absolutely.
And you're going,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's a catfish. Now, if it comes back with slime on your line, I get
absolutely, you can.
I get
you
that.
You can tell what kind of class it is. That's why Kelly Jordan uses a screw lock at his hook. He can pull the things up to the surface. Now,
I'm not a buyer on that one,
I understand, and
Craig.
sometimes river fish bite differently, but I mean, you can tell whether it's a doot-doot and it's swimming really fast with it, or whether you can move it when you pull up on it before you shake it off, or whether it's a big, deep thump and it starts heading towards deep water,
listen, Greg,
or it sits there on
you're
its
the
own,
professional.
or you can pull up on it. He's about to agree with me.
No, let me ask you this. You're the professional, right? A lot of times you get tap, tap, tap. A lot of times your line just goes that way. A lot of times it's thump, and then your line goes that way. You tell me how you tell the difference if that's a 2-pounder or a 10-pounder.
I would say the actual bite itself, you might not be able to tell, but as soon as you put any weight on those fish,
that's what I'm talking about.
What it is. You might not know if it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, but you know it's not 12 inches. Or
that's my point.
Okay, hang on a minute. So when you're shaking fish off, Matt, you're actually hooking them and letting them go and fighting them?
What?
That's what you're doing?
What do
when
you
you
mean?
shake fish off?
Yeah, well, I use a screw lock hook, and you can pull them out, and sometimes you pull them right up to the surface and you can see them, and other times you can't. Like, I'm pretty sure if you have 100 fish, like you might, in some instances, specifically rivers, you could probably land 5 or 6 of those fish without a hook in them if you wanted to. Would you not agree, Greg?
Hey, man, he's the pro.
I've seen smallmouth do that where they just won't let go, and they clamp down on that.
Yeah, and you reel them all the way up to the side of the boat.
I've done it with a tube.
I've seen that. But I just think the statement that you made that you can tell, I'm not going to lay into that one. That's a 10-pounder.
I didn't say I'm not going to lay into it. I just said that there are times when you're like, I wish I could set where you really want to set the hook.
Dude, it could have been a striper.
Flipping.
It
could have been
like a lay down or some like specific cover that you're shaking out of that you expect that fish to still be there. If I'm fishing like offshore, a lot of times I'll just catch one of those fish to see what's there because it's usually a school and they group up by size and all that. But if I flip into a lay down and I feel that bite, I can usually, if you want to come back to that tree or not.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. But to identify that, oh man, yeah, that was a 10-pounder.
That's not. If you go back and listen to the replay, that is not exactly what I said.
Anyway, hey, by the way, it's been a while since I looked at the stock price of the restaurant that Grae visits frequently. He's right. Who was it? Brian, I think.
Chipotle?
It's like $1,300 a share.
Is that good?
That's pretty good, man. I'm into the small cap. I like looking at the small cap stocks. I didn't look at Chipotle that.
Do you
that
dabble
often.
in like junk bonds? And
No,
stuff?
no. I like. Well, long term, yeah, I'm in the big names, retirement wise. But my little fun account, it's mainly small caps. I don't even have it pulled up.
Yeah, you usually have it pulled up.
Yeah, I won't do it.
When I go on one of
for a
my
couple
rants,
more
you're
weeks.
over there buying and selling every minute or two.
No. All right, let's get back to Grae. I apologize for deviating because of that ridiculous comment that he made. So we'll continue here. All right. Let's see here. Let me look at the instant feedback real quick because there was a question that somebody had here. Hang on. They said you're fired up today, Matthew.
Yeah, I am.
You just seem like you're in a...
What is that term? Melancholy?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the biggest fish caught in a pro tournament? I believe Mark Tyler still holds that. Didn't he catch a 14.6 on the Delta?
Yeah. What's your biggest in a tournament, Grae?
It was that 9.5 pounder down at Rayburn. That's the biggest one I've ever caught, and it happened to be day one of the tournament.
Huh. Interesting. Brian wants to know if I still own some UPS stock. Yeah, I still got a little bit. Not a whole lot, but I still have.
Is that stuff like gold?
It was before it went the IPO. If you hung on to it,
Listen,
it's like anything else.
Here's
man.
this. So obviously you've made some good decisions in the stock market
Yeah.
in your life. What is the best decision you think you have made in your fishing career so far to where you look back and you're like, I am glad that I did that when I did it?
I got one of the first BFL year. Like I fished the Super Tournament. I fished all 5 of them that year, but I found a school out on Ontario when I was running out of the St. Lawrence, and I always smashed them there the first day. I had like 20, almost 27 pounds off it. The second day, those fish were gone. I caught 1.4 there, and I had one other spot that I had caught like a 3-pounder, and I finally made the decision to leave that area that I caught that big bag the day before, and I went back and I caught 24 pounds off of it in like 20 minutes when I went to that new area. That's what got me out of an 18-foot boat and into a 20-foot boat. And it really started my career off snowballing on itself.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. If I looked at it like for a specific fish, I'd have to think about it a little bit.
No, but I mean, just a decision that you made. I mean, that it was a fishing decision, but that it ended up helping your career overall.
Yeah, no, that was definitely it, though. Gave me the confidence I could actually fish against some guys that were out of college.
Yeah, there's that word again, man. Confidence.
Yep.
I mean, it's such a player in this game, really, with anything. All right. What do you do during the off season right now? Obviously, being in Pennsylvania, I don't know what the weather's like up there, but what do you do to get ready and get your game dialed in?
Yeah, so basically, it was all fall. I don't hunt or anything. I did a lot of fishing through the fall. A lot of little local lakes. I have an electric boat that I take around and try to catch some fish there. I go down to the Chesapeake occasionally. Right now, we just had the ice melt for a while. We had like most of our lakes covered for probably like a week and a half. And then we got a little cold or warm rain that came through. Now I'm just getting ready to head to Florida. I'm tying rods up. I'm going to try to go down to Okeechobee here in the next couple weeks. Kind of get a lay of the land. I know that place changes a ton each year. And like I said before, it wasn't kind to me the first time I was there. So I'm looking forward to trying to get a little redemption on it.
Very nice. Now, Matt was talking about it on Monday's show about how he spent some time sitting down, doing his budget, planning everything out for the year. Are you one of those guys that sit down and really plan everything out to the dollar and try to come close from an expense standpoint?
I pay attention to it, and I have all the lodging lined up and all that through the year. I don't budget out like gas and all that. kind of makes you depressed if you look at it. So you just,
That's probably one of the reasons why I'm in the mood that I'm in today. It's like, oh my God.
yeah. No, if you know you gotta, when you go into it, you gotta hope you have enough sponsorship help and that you just have to
go in and hope.
I know my first couple years were definitely more stressful than it's been recently.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, you have to use the gas like in practice. Like you don't want to change how you're going to fish. And you got to go make sure you see all the lake or depending on how you break down a lake. But yeah, I have an idea what I'm going to spend in a year.
Yeah.
And then tournament wise, it kind of depending on how many sponsors you have and how much money you got coming in depends on how much you're going to fish. So like you might do just the pro circuit, or I'm going to fish the Northern Toyota series this year as well, and kind of mix some other stuff in.
Most depressing thing is trying to figure out the New York tolls and the gas prices and all that stuff up there. Like literally, you're
Well,
like,
you never know.
You're like, I'm going to spend $119 during this 2-hour commute right here. And then if I don't cash a check, I know that on that Saturday morning following it, I'm going to have to spend $119 going back through after not catching them. It's like $55 to take a boat through those things if you have a tandem axle. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get you. Up north, it's the worst where up here where I live.
Is it bad in
Pennsylvania
Pennsylvania and all that?
Yeah, if you come across the turnpike, you don't even want to look at it. You can usually avoid it if you jump up to 80. It's still a major highway, but they don't charge tolls on that one.
You can't just blow them.
I would assume that you have technology that grabs.
Dude, they take pictures of your plate and then they mail you.
Do you not remember when all those guys blew all the tolls at Houston?
No.
And they all got just massive bills later.
They didn't have a K tag or whatever.
No,
it's
they
called.
were on their way back to the classic weigh-in.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. So, are you a Steelers fan or a Browns fan?
I'm an Eagles fan. I'm on the other side of the state. I'm near Philadelphia.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought you were near Pittsburgh.
No, I'm like 4.5 hours from there.
All right, well then I'm going to rag on you because what went down on the Sunday night game was absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. That was not how you play football.
I mean, that poor guy, he looked like a kindergartner out there trying to play in the NFL. I felt sorry for him, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they were trying to claim they were trying to get him some playing time, but they just wanted that 5th or 6th pick, whatever they ended up getting. They didn't want to drop down.
Yeah, Giants fans were going absolutely nuts, man. It was crazy.
That's kind of funny, though, that part of it.
That is funny. That is funny. All right, Matt, anything else, man?
No. That'd be the equivalent of like giving your buddy a spot, your fishing spot so he can make it into the championship over someone. Like that happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Make the cut.
No, I got nothing else, man.
All right, man. Great stuff, Grae. And yeah, I don't care what Matt says. I'm a Grae Buck fan. And you're welcome on the show anytime, man. Best of luck to you in 2021. And especially at Sam Rayburn, man. I think you got the game, even though you haven't been on the lake. I think you got the game to do well there.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And I have fun every time I'm on here. So whatever. When you guys want me on, I'll make time and definitely come on.
All right, man. Take care. Good luck to you.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right, man. See ya. All right, there you have it. Grae Buck. Good dude, man. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Always has a very positive attitude whenever you see him. Super easy to talk to. And obviously very talented on the water, both north and south, which I think that's the most difficult thing for those northern guys is to be consistent down south.
I agree. We talked about the difference when Bradley was in studio on Monday about the Oklahoma guys fishing in Texas, the Texas guys fishing in Oklahoma. Well, let's kind of broaden it now and think about how difficult it is, or is it difficult for the guys from up north to figure out how to fish in Florida, in Louisiana,
I think
in Alabama.
I think it's very easy in some instances, as we've seen the success that Canadians and northern anglers have had in Florida, like on the Harris Chain and some offshore grass and things that set up like some of those lakes, in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like we see with the Seth Fighter and all that. But I think in other instances, it's very difficult because you're also dealing with fish that act a lot differently than northern strain largemouth.
Yeah.
And then you get these Florida strains and hybrid mixes, and then throw in spots, which they don't have up north there. And then there's no smallmouth, and now you're fishing a rock impoundment in a cold front for a different strain of fish. And I think that's where some of the guys, struggle. But other times I think it's wheelhouse for
That's
the
a good
northern
point.
guys down south. But and the current too is, it's a different current from the St. Lawrence River to like a TVA current.
Yeah. I've received several emails, and there's been multiple comments on both the instant feedback and the YouTube comment section about the situation with White River and a number of the pros leaving some of the White River brands, and some of the guys had been there forever. And I just think it's unfortunate, but I think it's a situation of they're looking at spreadsheets rather than looking at people. And if that's the way that you got to run a business, that's the way they do it. That is their decision. And, hopefully those guys will get hooked up with some kind of situation. But, yeah, there's been a lot of big names that have been let go.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting to get somebody from White River Marine. Somebody made the suggestion. I don't think that they would ever come on the show. I don't think that they would ever come out and publicly say, hey,
the benefit for 'em.
Here is why we did what we did. Now, in the real world, a lot of times you do hear that.
What, do they go on MSNBC?
Yeah, and they'll talk about it. They'll talk about why they have to have a reduction in their workforce. They'll talk about why they're closing stores. Macy's just announced, I think it was yesterday or this morning, they're closing another 200 stores. They talk about it all the time. All right, but one thing about that is they are publicly traded companies.
They have to let people know that.
You're not required, but at the same time, you want to communicate because a lot of this stuff will obviously affect your stock price. Now, the situation where it's either owned by a private equity group or individuals or an individual or whatever, that's a little bit different. I don't know. I will do this for the fans. I think a lot of people have requested it. I will reach out and see if a representative would be willing to come on and talk about the situation. A lot of it might be COVID related, but we've had numerous people in the industry talk about how boat sales have been very, very, very good during the pandemic because of, people want to be outside. They want to go fishing and they want to be involved with things in the outdoors. And boat sales have, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't even know what the numbers are, but I do know that revenues were definitely up in 2020 compared to previous years. I obviously don't have those numbers. So I will do what I can, fans, to see if anybody would be willing to come on the show and actually talk about the reasoning. I have a connection because I know one of the companies that are involved in White River. He does all their PR.
Oh.
All right. So I will make contact with that individual and see if somebody would be willing to come on the show and discuss the situation with the turnover for a lot of the pro staff guys in that situation. So we'll see. All right, folks, tomorrow the week continues. This is not the final show of the week. We have day 4 with Frank Scalish tomorrow. He's got some good stuff he's going to talk about. Let me just drop a tease. One of the things he's going to talk about is something that a lot of people are doing right now. Right now. Not as obviously you watch the show, but from a fishing perspective.
Rigging their boats.
They are doing a lot of that, but that's not what he's going to talk about.
Okay.
So make sure you tune in. It is commercial free, no commercials. It is nothing but Frank. Now, Matt, you'll be in Tulsa. I'll be here in studio. Frank will be in Cleveland. And the show is all about Frank. Make sure if you have anything to ask Frank, the instant feedback, the phone line is going to be wide open, and we will make this thing happen for the first time in 2021 with Day 4 with Frank Scalish. All right. Anything else, Matthew?
Yeah. I don't know if you'll be upset that I'm going to do this, but I'm looking for a 24-pitch Fury prop. It's okay if it's reworked as long as it's in good condition. I need to get an extra one. Listen, I've been trying to find one so much that I even texted Jason Christie to see if he had an extra one, and you know how.
Did you call Todd?
Who's Todd?
Frank's guy?
Oh no. But I'm just saying out there, if anybody
Todd.
happens to have an extra one,
You need to call Todd.
send me a
just send it to you without paying?
No, send me a DM on Instagram.
How much are you willing to
Matt
pay?
Pangrat. For a reworked one or a used one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Shoot me price.
Oh.
I'm just saying, if anyone's looking to move one, if I have the platform, I'm going to take advantage of it. I need it.
That's pretty funny.
24-pitch Mercury Fury.
You need to call Todd. Call Todd after the show. All right.
He has a rework?
See?
You think he has
Yeah.
a used one?
Yeah. See if he can
How
hook
much
you
do
up.
those cost to ship because they're heavy?
Well, it's not more than a bowling ball, and a bowling ball is $20.
Oh, yeah. You get bowling balls shipped to you all the time.
Yeah. It's like $20. Less than $20. Give him a call. Anybody else out there, if you want to help Matthew out, DM him. On Instagram, do they do DM on Instagram?
Yeah.
All right.
Stands for direct message.
Well, I know that. I know they do it on Facebook. I didn't know. I'm not an...
That's called Messenger on
whatever.
Facebook.
I'm not a social media guy. I think it's an absolute waste of time, but that's just me. In certain aspects. As you stare at me.
No, I'm reading the comments.
No, I don't have a UPS discount. Never had a UPS discount. Did you know? You have 250,000 employees and nobody gets a discount to ship stuff. That's how they roll. All right, everybody. That's it. Day 4 tomorrow. I want to thank Grae Buck for being on the show, and we will continue this madness for a 4th day tomorrow on Thursday.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, everybody out there, be safe. That's it. We're out of here.